Yunus is trying to stay in power beyond this his interim position. If BNP is in power and he is given a position, maybe the position of even the president, his influence would be minimal. And he will be always under the threat of being discharged from his position anytime. But if Jamaat is in power, his influence is supreme. His position as part of that government or head of that government is ensured. So, who is going to win this election depends on how much Yunus and Jamaat schemes are successful. So, Yunus is a huge icon to an iconic figure to save Jamaat from its Islamist image. And that's the reason Jamaat needs Yunus actually, not only want. So Yunus also knows that. So what Yunus can give to Jamaat and can enjoy in exchange of what he gives. So if all the BNP people votes for Jamaat, there is nothing to be surprised about. And BNP has another added baggage now. In last 1.5 years, BNP literally invaded every petty financial um, maneuvers, like taking toll from everywhere, from bazaars, from bus stands, from all kinds of businesses. Let us take the example of Pakistan. Jamaat is originally from Pakistan or even from India, but we understand that Jamaat even cannot dream of becoming something like Bangladeshi Jamaat, even never. Not only overthrew Mursi, they destroyed the Egyptian version of Jamaat or Brotherhood. Totally, they are in Egypt. In next 100 years, there is no prospect for Brotherhood. Awami League is under threat. So, and they are under siege. Their life, their properties, their family are at risk. Both Jamaat and BNP are threatening them. Either vote for us or you will face this and that. So these are all traumatized people. So they will do whatever is best for their survival.
Hi, welcome to Podcast with Pratim. In this episode, we will discuss about Bangladesh with a very special guest, Mr. Harun Al-Rashid, the former ambassador of Bangladesh. His last posting was in Morocco, and he resigned from the services or something like that. But he did not join. He was asked to go back to Dhaka. He did not go. That is, of course, after this uprising, and he is now living abroad. So, welcome to the show, sir. And
Thank you.
Mr. Rashid, so where, let us first start from where it is rather ending. What we anticipated, but now we are seeing it. There has been a surge of support for Jamaat-e-Islami led Islamists. Not every Islamic party has joined there. I think Islami Andolan has quit the coalition led by Jamaat. We all know the setting. A very unfair ground is created. It is basically an election of and for a particular group. BNP and Jamaat were erstwhile coalition partners. So it is between a group, and if we see Awami League is thrown out of the ring, that's okay. But they haven't given space even to Jatiyo Party, right? And that's very interesting because Jatiyo Party has been speaking against the quota. They were in favor of the students at the start of the quota protest and all that. So we are not going back to the history, but first of all, how do you see the chance of Jamaat-e-Islami in this election? They are looking very kind of very hopeful. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Pratim. Um, Jamaat's prospect is very good. Let us see what Yunus wants or what serves uh, Yunus's purpose. Yunus wants security. Yunus got the taste of state power, and Yunus is a man who never gets a taste of something, he never wants to relinquish it. And I think whatever he has got in his life or in his 50, 60 years of career, Nobel Prize and everything, and the most appealing thing to him was to enjoy the state power. And his the objective of his winning the Nobel Prize also was this, that wanted to capture the state and stay there as its head of government or head of state or whatever. So Yunus is trying to stay in power beyond this his interim position. So he has mechanized it two ways: to be part of a government led by the BNP or to be part of a government led by the Jamaat. But if BNP is in power and he is given a position, maybe the position of even the president, his influence would be minimal, and he will be always under the threat of being discharged from his position anytime. But if Jamaat is in power, his influence is supreme. His position as part of that government or head of that government is ensured. So another 5 years he can enjoy the state power the way he has been enjoying it for last 1.5 years. So definitely Yunus would not want to give up that. So he is doing everything, and Jamaat is also doing everything under his directions and his mechanisms and the jihadist ministers in the cabinet to bring out a win for Jamaat. And many things are being cooked behind the scenes that are not public, and many of them we don't know. So it depends on how they are successful in translating their efforts into reality. But there is no election. It's not you can predict only. There is an election that is going to be held according to norms practices. Here, nothing is happening like that. It's all mechanized, serving Yunus's interests, and Yunus's interests and Jamaat's interests coincide. So Yunus's effort is to make Jamaat win. If they fail, BNP will win, and Yunus, I believe, will have less influence in government in country, whether it is in a government position or beyond that. So who is going to win this election depends on how much Yunus and Jamaat schemes are successful.
Okay. Yeah, we heard a lot of things. We heard projections of 140 to 180 for Jamaat. We also heard that in 200 seats, they have had their administrative backup. They did the background things, as you were indicating. So a lot of stories are out about their preparedness to be seen, how it pans out. And you have said something which is very crucial, that if BNP comes to power and on a popular vote, then of course, Dr. Yunus's clout on that government will be minimal. Though I'm not very clear why he will have a great clout on the Jamaat government, because Jamaat is more organized than BNP is. Maybe because, is it because of the clash of personalities, you think?
Why Yunus will have more influence on Jamaat government? The reason is the person Yunus himself. Yunus is a man. To him, no kind of morality, no kind of fairness, nothing works. Only he is a man to enjoy this world, to enjoy life. Jamaat needs that kind of person. Also, Jamaat needs Yunus to protect them internationally because Yunus have a false mask on his face as a defender of these, that, Western values, etc. And
Right. It's
with that
great for
image,
for image building in the West, image building and the
yeah,
networks. Right.
with that image, Yunus have been protecting Bangladeshi terrorists and jihadists who are really in control in Bangladesh next 18 months, and Yunus have protected them even more than they expected. So for Jamaat, Yunus is a real value, is a real pillar, anchor. But BNP would not like that because BNP has huge public support. I mean, BNP always enjoys support of the. It's the second biggest political party in Bangladesh after
It
Awami
always had
League.
a
Everybody
30%
knows
loyal
that.
vote share.
Yeah. So given BNP's vastness, Yunus's influence is compromised. But when Jamaat enjoying only, for example, I don't know now, maybe 20% of population, the direct support of 20% of population, but Jamaat has indirect support or craving of maybe 80% of Muslims. That is another discussion. So Yunus is a huge icon to an iconic figure to save Jamaat from its Islamist image. And that's the
Okay.
reason Jamaat needs Yunus actually, not only want. So Yunus also knows that. So what Yunus can give to Jamaat and can enjoy in exchange of what he gives.
Right. That's a great point. Sir, quickly, if the election is free, even in the current context where the participation is limited to one group, which is pro-Islamic, how much vote on a fair election, how much uh, vote share, let's even if not in seats, Jamaat can get?
I think it is not possible even to say it, but because we don't know how much Bangladesh has been Islamized. We know actually, but how much that Islamization will turn into Jamaat votes, it can only be seen under a free and fair election. But Yunus, his government, and Jamaat, this nexus has already confirmed that this is not going to be a free, fair, whatever election, even excluding Awami League. This election is being participated by the Zongi coalition or terrorist coalition of 2024, the coalition that ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. It is an internal election among these partners, BNP, Jamaat, and others. So, even under that system, Yunus has made it clear, Jamaat has made it clear that this election is going to be mechanized. There is all the signs, everything. People know even about that, referendum. So, from the state, from the people who are occupying the power, they made it clear that this is not going to be what we believe an election should be. So
Right.
the result is depending on everybody's, everybody's striving and all the things they are cooking and how much they are cooking, how much they are successful in cooking. We will get that recipe, that food after the election.
Right. Thanks, sir. uh, BNP was a clear winner had there been an election within 3 months or even 6 months of the ouster of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. BNP would have been a sure winner with 200 odd seats. That was the mood on the ground. What changed? Has it lost on its support? Why people are suddenly talking about Jamaat? or is it a kind of created image in favor of Jamaat? What is your expectation from BNP?
The problem is, or the issue is, BNP and Jamaat, there is no division between them. And anybody votes for Jamaat can vote for BNP. Votes for BNP can vote for Jamaat. I mean, the people, those vote for Jamaat and BNP, are the people of former Muslim League and Islamists. I mean, if we see in 1972 election, which Awami League won under Pakistan, around 30% people did not vote for Awami League. Those people prevailed there, they stayed there, they are now BNP and Jamaat. So if they had a ideological divide between the Jamaat and BNP, we could say that how much vote BNP's vote will Jamaat take. There is no ideological divide between them. So if all the BNP people votes for Jamaat, there is nothing to be surprised about. And BNP has another added baggage now. In last 1.5 years, BNP literally occupied, invaded every petty financial um, maneuvers, like taking toll from everywhere, from bazaars, from bus stands, from all kinds of businesses. So public perception of BNP has been tarnished. What you have said, that immediately after the up price, maybe if the election were held in 3 months, BNP could win. But now people have seen that BNP has not changed anything. They have not changed even a modicum of it. So BNP is that corrupt BNP that ruled Bangladesh, and their last rule we saw between 2001 and 2006. In 5 years, they made Bangladesh the most corrupt country in the world for 5 successive terms. And people who are observing, they have seen that BNP has not changed. BNP did not change their people. They did not change their mind. They remain those same old corrupt people. Corrupt. They will rule under the same corrupt system. But in this case, Jamaat has a good image. People believe Jamaat does not um, indulge in financial corruption.
Right. Yeah, I also noticed, I know one thing is, of course, working in favor of Jamaat, that it has never been in power, right? So once you are in power, you have certain baggages, whosoever it is. But they were never in
Yes.
power, so there is a perception of being victimhood, that they were victimized, and all these things are working there. That takes me to a quick question. Jamaat had not been successful in Pakistan in election, but why it has better prospects in Bangladesh?
You see, Mr. Pratim, this is a very important question, and I think it needs to be hugely discussed everywhere, and the issues related to it, we need to understand. Let me say something which you can't hear in public domain. If we don't understand certain core issues, we won't understand why Jamaat is so influential in Bangladesh. First thing is, first issue is Islamic religious reason and their influence in among Muslims. See, what is a religious reason? Let us take an example. God created someone. Say we said that nothing can happen without the will of God, which means if a criminal commits a crime, it has happened with God's permission or God's will. So, in this case, you have to give some responsibility to God. of the crime that has been committed. So this is religious logic that a criminal's crime, God has no responsibility. Again, the crime was committed with God's will. But scientific logic is that God has certain role or responsibility in the criminal's crime. So this logic, you can, with this logic, you can run a religion, but you cannot run a computer functional. This is the reason all the religious communities or sects like Christians, Hindus, Jewish, they accepted this reality that with religious logic, a government cannot be run. So they all now came under secular rule. They all adopted secular rule. But Muslims all over the world, 2 billion Muslims, majority of them could not accept this reality. They still want to run a state with God's, religious logic. However, while Muslims all over the world could not accept this, the ruling classes all over the world accepted this. And now the ruling classes have their own mechanisms to stop people like Jamaat from occupying a statecraft. Let us take the example of Pakistan. Jamaat is originally from Pakistan or even from India, but we understand that Jamaat even cannot dream of becoming something like Bangladeshi Jamaat, even never, because Pakistani elite, those who run Pakistan, they understand that logic by belief or by practicalities, that I don't know. So they have their own internal mechanism to stop Jamaat from occupying the statecraft of Pakistan. Let us look at the example of Egypt. In Egypt, in 2011 or 12, there was an election, and Jamaat, I mean Brotherhood, they are actually the same organization. They are everything they share. Brotherhood man, Mr. Morsi, was elected, and in 6 months, Egyptian army not only overthrew Morsi, they destroyed the Egyptian version of Jamaat or Brotherhood totally. They are in Egypt. In next 100 years, there is no prospect for Brotherhood. Egyptian army destroyed it to such extent. When Morsi was elected, but what he was giving in 6 months, he proved that if he runs Egypt for 5 years, Egypt will be another Afghanistan or at least Iran. So the influential military understood this, and they overthrew Brotherhood from destroyed Brotherhood in Egypt. Unfortunately, in Bangladesh, we don't have that kind of a ruling class or a leading class, not in intellectuals, not in ruling class, that understands this core issue that what kind of, they in Bangladesh, since we don't have that kind of powerful quarter among our ruling class, we could not stop Jamaat from, gaining the influence that they are now enjoying in Bangladesh. Ideally, Awami League could have done that. Awami League could have played that role, what Pakistani civil and military elite played in Pakistan, Egyptian army played in Egypt, and that responsibility was with Awami League in Bangladesh. But we saw that Awami League also think like Jamaat. So there is not conscious awareness. There has never been a conscious awareness among Awami League about the dangers of Jamaat. So they produced another kind of Islam, which we see as Hafazat. But now see, in this election, Hafazat and Jamaat are in coalition. I
Right.
hope I could try to give some light into the core of the issue.
No, no,
If you,
absolutely, absolutely. This is the same Hifazat that conferred Qaumi Janani status, mother of Qaumi, to uh, Sheikh Hasina in 2017. So, or 18. So that same Hifazat today is taking the other side of the dice. So that's very interesting. But you know what is critical about this analysis that you made is that you gave reference of Pakistan and Egypt, and to me it appears that when you don't have a strong elite class, a little more prudent, uh, and with the Islamization drive, then you can create very bad examples. Are you meaning that? I mean, something deadlier than Pakistan or etc.
yes, the thing is that what kind of a state Jamaat can make is understood in Egypt, is understood in Pakistan
But
by the
how do you describe, how do you explain then the American confidence that Jamaat will not do anything, not implement Sharia and this and that, we will just impose a tariff and they will stop, this kind of argument? How do you look at it?
first thing I have every doubt about the genuinity of this information. Let us put that aside. But even if it is true that Americans are confident that Jamaat would not do, yes, for the time being, Jamaat would do anything Americans instruct, because Jamaat does not want to implement their agenda in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Their now primary agenda is to capture the state and to remain in power. And for the time being, they could do whatever Americans want. For example, if the Americans want that all the Jamati women will wear only, European dress, what European women wear in summer, Jamaat will make that sure. But because Jamaat at any cost first want to capture the state and consolidate their position within the state. And for that, whatever is instructed or whatever is advised, they will simply comply. You won't know even them. But again, there is doubt because within that force, there are so many forces among the terrorists and jihadists, and how Jamaat will manage those pressures, it will be a matter to be seen.
Exactly. My fear too. I mean, the Jamaat has been, a couple of them, they are in discussion. They come, one of them came to my podcast as well. And that is this kind of logic that they say that the Jamaat will not do that, do this or do that. But my point was simple. When you are doing this Islamic consolidation, how do you guarantee me that they will remain under your control? Because
They will never remain under their
we
control,
have seen
but
that
for a
in
certain
2001,
period of time.
2006. We have seen that in 2001 and 6.
Yes. Jamaat prudently will try to stick to power. And whatever Jamaat has done in Bangladesh, all in silence. You see, Awami League was very happy uh, with that trial against about crimes against humanity, war criminals,
Right.
which is simply some eyewash to themselves even. The real effort they should have taken to weed out Jamaat's influence in the society. They did not know how to do it, and they even did not have the will. If they had the will, they did not know how. So there was no intellectual engagement. There was no um, intellectual investment in countering Jamaat. And the result is today's Bangladesh.
That's really sad. I mean, Awami League cannot escape its share of its contribution in today's Bangladesh in every sense of the term. Sir, uh, we have now another 5 minutes to go. So, you said that BNP voters can jolly well go and vote for Jamaat, right? How about Awami League voters? They have traditionally, everyone assumes that they have 30 to 35% loyal votes, whatever it is. Now, what will happen to Awami League voters? A, do you think they will participate in this election or they will abstain? My personal guess is that a section will at least vote. Two, if they vote for whom? Because I'm hearing some people might vote for Jamaat also. So, what is your take on this?
The take is very simple, and it is not take, it is going to happen. Awami League is under threat. So, and they are under siege. Their life, their properties, their family are at risk. Both Jamaat and BNP are threatening them. Either vote for us or you will face this and that. So these are all traumatized people. So they will do whatever is best for their survival. In that case, yes, many, if they need to go to the polling center, they will go and they will vote. But this does not change the reality. The reality is that Awami League, in my belief, enjoys at least 50%, not 35, 30, whatever. In right now in Bangladesh, after what havoc Yunus have played all over Bangladesh in last 1.5 years, at least 50% of Bangladeshi people are now standing behind Awami League. If you give a free and fair election with fairness and inclusiveness and let Awami League take part, Awami League will win it with absolute majority right now. And that's the reason Yunus is not letting Awami League participate in this election. So so Awami League voters will do only what makes their survival practical. And if their life is not compromised, they will not go for vote following Sheikh Hasina's instruction. But if their life is threatened, if their properties, their family, all are at risk, they will vote to protect them. This is the reality in Bangladesh right now.
Sir, the last question on this podcast, but we will definitely come back to you because I think you can elaborate many things in detail, and we need to do more exercises on Bangladesh. There are many problems with the narrative that has been going on, particularly the one that is built by Yunus. This is related to human rights abuse. Now, I do not disagree that there were human rights abuse during Hasina era, but there's a huge but. What is the status in last 1.5 years? If you can just quickly summarize it.
Well, it's the
You
first
yourself
thing
is
is
probably part of an example.
yeah. First thing is 21 August in 2004 there was a bomb grenade attack on Sheikh Hasina and
Right.
Awami League on 21st August. If you take the single case of human rights violation on that day only, and if you add to it the human rights violation of 1975, 15th of August, where Bangabandhu and his family were killed, these two human rights violations, if you add them up, are far less than all the human rights violations Awami League committed in their 21 years of rule from, from 1996 to 2001 and 2009 to 2024. If you add all these 25 years human rights violation of Awami League and put it on one scale and put the human rights violations of only 2 days, 1975 August and 2004 21st August, 1975 of 15th August. These 2 days human rights violation. The human rights violations of 2 days are more are heavier than the human rights
Are
violations
you by
done
the
by
way saying
Yahoo.
that, are you by the way saying that because there
I'm
was,
coming to you. I have only one sentence to complete. And in human rights violation, Yunus have broken all example, not only in Bangladesh, in 21st century. If you take the example of giving, amnesty to the killers of police and Awami League people, and what we have seen just 2 days ago, that a dead child and a dead mother, a dead family, either killed or committed suicide, they were going to see their life guardian to the jail, and Yunus even did not allow the man who has done nothing, maybe who has actually committed no crime, only because he is a Awami League activist, he is in jail, and he was not allowed to come to see his dead wife and child. So the human rights violation of Yunus is beyond description. It is gross. It belies any humanity. There is no humanity in Bangladesh. So nothing is comparable. Not even nothing. Nothing is comparable to the human rights violation of by Yunus. And this will go to increase if Jamaat and Yunus nexus rules Bangladesh in the future. Thank you. Now you are.
yeah. So just for the benefit of viewers, today there is no account of how many people are killed in custody or jail so far. Megmallar Boshu, a leftist student union leader, so he on a Facebook post said that 150 political prisoners have died. We saw a former minister who was in coma in hospital is handcuffed, very old. And we in Bangladesh, the former chief justice, industrialists, they all are 75, 80 plus years old, and they are handcuffed and presented. They don't get bails. A top academic, Dr. Abul Barkat, he is the only person who has done seminal work on terror financing and on the persecution on Hindus. He has been in jail for at least 5, 6 months without any on corruption charges and no bail. So that's another thing. A journalist was first bailed on anti-terror charges, and then he has been slapped. A month later, he was slapped with a anti-corruption charge, and for a total net asset value of only 4 crores, which any prominent journalist can make legally. You can have a tax evasion case, that's separate. So these are some of the datas. So thank you, Ambassador. Thanks for joining the show, and I sincerely wish that we will carry on with this conversation time and again from here onwards. Thank you so much.
We will. Thank you so much.